watching this episode of The Patch on YouTube. Just a reminder that we do stream the show live for Rooster Teeth First members on our website. And you also get access to the show a day early, as well as access to our Patch Post show, which is just a little bit more patch in your week. If you think all that sounds pretty awesome, you can get a 30-day trial for free and see what it's all about. Just check out the details below.
I remember this time. I flipped it. Hey, welcome to The Patch.
Good job.
This week brought to you by Casper and MeUndies. So thank you for supporting this podcast. Today, we have...
Ashley.
Adam.
And Ryan, here to talk about video games, maybe.
Maybe possibly.
Before we talk about video games, can I talk about my pants?
Let's talk about your
I think we
pants.
need to talk about your pants.
Somewhere along the line today, and I lead off with this as a way of apology, because if I move the right way, you might see my underwear, because my zipper it failed today.
Might see you, MeUndies.
My zipper failed, yeah. I wish I was wearing MeUndies today, because I could easily show off the product.
Then they also would have been very decorative.
It's true. But
hold on, let me...
I made also...
Do they do
I'm wearing my Halloween MeUndies.
Do they have Christmas MeUndies?
Yes,
Ooh.
in fact, it was great. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
All right,
we'll talk about it in a little
plug
bit.
them
Otherwise,
later.
I'll just talk about underwear for an hour.
I will say I did make one fledgling attempt to repair my pants with this bobby pin, which worked for a while, and then eventually I looked down and realized that it had come undone and was pointing towards my junk. Thankfully, I didn't notice in the way that would have caused irreparable damage. Irreparable damage.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say I'm not sure about irreparable, but certainly regrettable.
It's one of those life moments when you look down and go, "Oh, I'm glad that didn't happen." So watch out for your ding dongs, folks.
Watch
Just
out for your
throwing shit on the set. Is that
There
how
we
today's
go.
going to go?
It's closed. It's pinned up. So yeah, if I come loose in the middle of this, that's what happened. Sorry, my bad.
I'm just happy that you brought it up. I was worried that we were going to have to find some circuitous route to talk about the fact that your pants are just hanging open.
I figure it was a good lead on. For anybody that
about
happens to watch video, if I uncross my legs at this point, you may just see London and France.
There's been a history of balls on live stream podcasts from this company.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think.
Well, it seems like an aggressive company agenda.
We like to display them wherever possible.
Yeah. Speaking of aggressive agendas, I'm so mad.
Seasonal beer.
I brought my seasonal beer to work for occasions just like this and for when we stream. And someone between yesterday evening and now went through and drank like 4 of them.
Huh.
Out of
Interesting.
6.
I'm
Didn't you
not
just
to
get a
out
new hire?
anybody over
Didn't
there.
you just get a new hire yesterday?
Yes, but no, he's been in the same room with me, and so I know if he's been sneaking them.
Oh, okay.
Not so when did they go missing?
Sometime between yesterday evening and now.
Okay, well, then never mind. I
think
have
they
no
did something
leads.
holiday related with the fridge out there, and so maybe they mistook your.
They did
holiday
something,
related.
and I'm not happy about it.
Also, no one works in this building anymore
No,
except
dude,
for
it's
broadcast.
empty. Yeah,
so really,
this is the most
So really,
people
we're
in this
blaming
building.
broadcast.
the suspects are all kind of in the room.
It's okay. On the bright side, it just means that more people have had this beer, and then they will be, they will now go get this beer for themselves.
It's a good beer.
It's the best beer.
You've been filling people with holiday cheer.
Holiday beer at the very least.
Beer cheer. Cheer beer.
Anyway, video games.
Video games.
Video games.
There's some of those, sure.
So, well, I'm just trying to figure out what to talk about first because I feel like there's a lot.
There has been a lot.
What have you played of Final Fantasy? Because that is the game I have not played, but I am the most interested in playing.
Okay, so we'll start off with Final Fantasy.
All right.
I mean, it's been out a week now. I've played maybe 15 hours of it. I'm holding off doing a lot of the story stuff because that's just the way I play RPGs is do every possible side quest, and then by the time you get to the actual quest stuff, you're super overpowered and it just feels like easy and kind of underwhelming. That's my strategy. I'm sticking to it. So I've been doing a lot of the side quests. I can ride my chocobos now.
I've been doing your chocobos.
I can drift my chocobos
God, that's
now.
Fucking, what a stupid cool feature.
It's so stupid. I'm like, and which delay was this that you added this in?
We need 2 weeks. 2 weeks for chocobo drifting. 2 weeks and we get chocobos.
It's an important feature.
It's awesome. It's just fucking real stupid.
So I'm warming up to it, which I don't know if for me that's a good thing or a bad thing. I keep thinking to myself I'm not really enjoying it too much, and then I go home and I play it anyway.
You were trapped in the tutorial for a while though, right?
I was trapped in the tutorial for a while, and that's I'm past that. I'm opened up now. I've got a lot going on. What?
Well, that doesn't sound like you're enjoying it. It sounds more like you've got some kind of video game version of Stockholm Syndrome.
I might. I'm not sure. I think part of it is that some of the gameplay takes a while to get into. Okay. It takes a while for things to sort of like start to click, start to make sense, and for a lot of the different gameplay systems to kind of come together. Combat is a good example of that. It's very non-traditional Final Fantasy combat in that it's not turn-based anymore. It's basically what they've been doing and refining since 12. 11, I guess, where it's active combat, so you're actually like running around and slashing at things actively, as opposed to waiting in your line and then like, oh, your timer is up, so now you can select a move here, and so on and so forth.
Isn't it just auto attack though?
It's auto attack for your teammates. You actively control Noctis, the main character.
I know you run around and stuff like that, but I thought it was you just hold X.
No, there is an awful lot of locking on and then just holding in the circle button to swing the sword. Okay. But if you want to do any special attacks, then you can, like Noctis has the ability to sort of like teleports. It's not the teleport, it's a warp.
Sure. Right.
And do like warp attacks through people, and you can dodge and you can block and you can parry through various button combinations. So there's definitely a lot more to it than just that. And also Noctis is the only one who can cast spells on the fly, really. So you can see there he's like warping through things a little bit.
Right. I mean, he is the prince.
So you do have like a unique set of abilities though, right? It's not just hack and slash and
warp.
And
you also develop abilities based on what you want. So did you play Final Fantasy X at all?
No, I played Final Fantasy 14 and that's it.
Okay, so Final Fantasy X introduced the sphere grid system, which is sort of their version of branched skill leveling, where you can, like, you get these points and you go into this system and you can spend a number of points here, which would then unlock further, like, nodes along that path. Okay. But there's, like, 6 or 7 different areas that, like, there's combat, there's teamwork, there's techniques, there's recovery, there's exploration, there's, a bunch of different sort of like little trees, and you can go into any of those and then unlock subnodes, but you have to unlock a basic node before you can unlock advanced ones and so on. And so that's how you get additional skills, and once you unlock those skills, then your teammates will automatically use them in battle. But then there's also specific moves that you can equip on them. And then as you go through a battle and you're whacking dudes upside the head with your swords, whatever, you build up like a tech bar. And then I feel like I'm making this sound very complicated, but there's a lot to it. It makes sense when you're playing it.
Right.
So
once you build up a tech bar,
once you
and
fill
then
up the
from the tech bar, you staff it with geniuses. And then they come in and do all the moves for you.
I was like putting it all together, and then you snapped me out of it by saying you were making it too complicated. I was like,
sorry.
maybe
you feed them to the geniuses.
Well, think of it as like as you chain moves together, you build up points, and you can then use those points by having your teammates execute various power moves. Okay. Essentially, so you have one where he'll suddenly bring in his giant sword and do a huge sweeping slash. Or you will have one that can set you up in almost like a quick chain of attacks, and then Noctis executes on them. And or the gun dude, Prompto. My names for them are all really bad, by the way. I've got gun dude, Stodgy Butler, and the heavy.
There you go. Descriptive, really. That's the important part.
Yeah, thanks.
You keep them straight.
So they each have their own roles in combat as well, like their own sort of specialties, like the heavy, Gladio. He's fine. You don't worry about him for shit. He's got so many hit points, and he's the damage dealer in the tank. And you have to focus on keeping fucking Prompto alive so we can take more pictures of you during your battle.
Well, that's important too.
Which sounds cool because you just have random pictures that he takes that you don't have any control of. You just like look through his camera roll and it's like, look at all these cool photos.
And he'll yes, Ryan, you seem skeptical about this.
Yes, man, that seems
like,
super cool.
All right,
here's
like,
the thing.
Imagine playing the game for like 20 hours and then you go to Prompto and be like, let me see your photos, and he just has a bunch of selfies that you took along your journey. And you're like, I remember that.
It sounds really stupid, and it is, but I went into it being like, this is the dumbest thing ever. All right, I'll just save this one because I feel like you have to. I have to feel like you have to save stuff.
I can hardly wait to be take part in what is essentially the video game version of scrapbooking.
Do you take photos on
your phone? It is absolutely video game scrapbooking, and it sounds stupid, but you want to go back through those pictures and you'll be like, oh yeah.
Do you not take pictures on your phone and then you go back like a year later and like, but wow, I mean,
yes, but I have
it's like that.
I have real people that matter to me in my life.
Yeah, Prompto.
Yeah, but what about fake people that matter
whatever
to you?
His name is.
I'm only going to spend maybe 40 hours with these people. I don't need memories that will last a lifetime.
I don't know. That stuff's pretty cool.
It's better off if I forget them.
It's dumb, stupid, fun stuff. It's like chocobo drifting.
Right, has dumb, stupid features, but they're fun.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I'm not feeling about the game, because I wasn't feeling combat for a while, and then other stuff unlocked and it started to kind of come together. So it started as just sort of havoc, basically. And then once I got, more good moves for the other characters and figured out how and when to use them and teleporting in and out to use or regenerate your MPs so you can do special moves like warping, the combat started to feel a lot better. I think I still have a ways to go before it feels really good, but that's all in development. That's in unlocking new moves and such. But what I'm not really feeling at the moment is the story stuff. There's so much that happens off screen, and I think part of it is because was this sort of cross-media project.
Is the thing we talked about a few weeks ago where we didn't know the level of connection those cross-media things had. Turns out it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I've heard this from a lot of people.
Yeah, so basically if you don't watch Kingsglaive, then it feels like there's a great big hole in the story for 15. And this is just early on. Like some of the later developments as well. It's just like stuff clearly got cut. But early on, if you don't watch the movie, you just look at the paper and you're like, oh yeah, look, everyone everywhere died.
That seems like a big note.
Yeah. And if you watch the movie, you'd be like, oh yes, so many epic things. But if you didn't watch it, that's like the extent of that development. It feels like there's a weird hole. And the thing is, a lot of that stuff happens off screen while you're running around like an asshole, like fetching stuff for the cute mechanic because Prompto has a crush. And also because she'll wax your car and make it cool.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
It's the only female character I've seen in that game. I'm assuming there's a lot of others.
No, there's other female characters. Okay. She's like the main one that you see that they would use in marketing, anything like that. But there are plenty of other female characters.
Gotcha.
I mean, it is a story about a road trip. So
Fair enough.
it's a guy focused game, which is one of the things that initially I was like, I don't know, do I want to go on a road trip? It's not like my sort of thing, but I'm enjoying myself with that aspect way more than I thought I would.
Well, so circling around to a question I asked a couple days ago, because we've been talking about Final Fantasy a lot, but how do you feel about a video game giving you homework?
You mean to like go and watch the movie?
Yeah.
It's making me want to go watch the movie, so there's that.
Oh, that worked.
But here's another thing. And I should note that a lot of the issues I have with the story, they're gonna fix. So
when?
Yeah. So here's the thing: is they've Hajime Tabata has outlined these DLC plans, which is not the expansion stuff, not DLC, but almost like an update plan, which tells me that even in spite of all the delays, in spite of the delay from earlier this year to November, it still wasn't done. So they need to go in. They're going in to fill a bunch of the holes in the story. They're going in to fix one of the later parts of the game, specifically Chapter 13, which is the one everyone was like, where did the game go? I'm just like running down corridors now? Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I've heard that like in broad strokes, apparently the end of the game is a little bit dull. Yes. And it's like the same thing repeatedly. So are they like genuinely going to go in and rework that? So
I don't know to what extent it's going to be reworked, but I get the feeling they're like all the hardcore people who play and beat it now are going to play it again. Because it's supposed to flesh a lot of it out. It's big stuff.
That's a hell of a thing to rewire at this point. They're approaching 700,000 sales, I think, in Japan alone.
Yeah, the game.
That number out of my
do
head.
They have an ETA for that? Because I want to play this game and I don't want to be hampered by I don't want to get 30 hours in and be like, well, I'm not going to complete the story.
Here's what you do: you wait for the HD remake that they're going to release next
Inevitably.
year.
This is the Mass Effect 3 thing where they were like, we recognize the ending sucks. We're going to change it. Just wait. And so I waited, and then I forgot about the game, and I
never have beaten that one either. Yeah, I've never seen the end.
Oh, see, I went ahead, I beat it because at the time I didn't care about the end so much, and I've never actually played the updated end for Mass Effect 3 because I didn't care.
There you go. You had your ending.
Well, yeah, it's like I had my ending. I took what I wanted to away from it, and then I went on. In fact, I never played any of the DLC for Mass Effect 3 either, because by then it was wrapped up for me. I'd had my catharsis. I'd had my good cry. I'd changed the universe to a different color, and and like there were various fallouts, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it's over. And then I went and played other games and just like got on with it. And so for me, that door was closed. And I had no interest in reopening it.
Well, I'm not going to open the Final Fantasy door until I know more about what's going to happen with the ending.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I really am dying for a new RPG, as I mentioned previously.
Yeah, so
but there's no way I'm going to play a 50-hour game and not have the right ending.
Yeah, so to give you an idea of sales, they said they've shipped 5 million units worldwide so far. It's a lot of units.
It's a lot of units.
Which is not
shipped.
of course the same as sales. And I'm not clear on how they're counting digital sales as part of shipped. I would assume that they would count it as shipped and sold.
Sure.
But
you shipped it one bit at a time.
One bit at a time. Sometimes really fucking slow. But I talked about that last week and I'm over it now. Finally got it updated.
You had a gnat problem. And that was...
I don't think so, because I had the same problem at home and here.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought never mind. Doesn't matter.
No, then I got the details from you and like fixed the net, and I was like, it was still just slow networky stuff.
Cool.
But also, it's fine. We're over it. I got the game and I'm good.
If you put the PS4 in rest mode, it will download things faster.
The PS4,
Everyone's
it's amazing. The PlayStation
theories.
has become like the new blow on the cartridge of video game consoles.
I also heard
how do you get it to download at a reasonable rate?
Put it in test mode.
I'm getting a little frustrated with console gaming, especially. I don't know if we should talk about it yet.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, what do you got?
Adam, the PC guy, is frustrated with console gaming.
I play certain games I only play on console, like Dark Souls games. I'm a console player, but like hearing about like the console exclusives like Last Guardian, which I don't know if we should talk about this, but you mentioned
we'll talk about it.
Didn't exactly perform well on a regular PS4. Like,
it seems to be a little bit of your mileage may vary thing.
Okay.
We played yesterday on a PS4 Pro and it played fine. There were some stutters. Nothing.
On a Pro, there were stutters?
On a Pro, there were some stutters. Nothing huge, nothing crazy. Well, yeah, it's but there are much more significant slowdowns on the base like playing on the base PS4. Here's the thing: I'm still really enjoying the game. I'm still really enjoying it. Did you play Shadow of the Colossus or Eco?
I have not, but I've heard that's what it was most compared to. And we were going to do a Let's Watch in Last Guardian today, but PlayStation downloads as if someone was walking the bits to the building.
You guys
on rest mode. It's gonna go fast.
I've tried everything. I put it on pause and unpause the download on rest mode. On take it out of rest mode.
Did you blow on the cartridge?
I danced around it with a rain stick.
Static IP for that PS4?
Yes, it's got a static IP.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, no, it's wide open NAT.
If you guys ever have problems
it's
like
like
that,
my zipper.
let me know, because I have a PS4 with Last Guardian on it in Noah's office.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Well, now it's downloading, so we switched over and did a Dead Rising 4 Let's Watch instead.
Yes.
Which we've now done Dead Rising 4 Let's Watch and a multiplayer. So I've played both sides of that game.
Thoughts?
Enjoyable. I like it. It's been getting a little bit of flack from some folks that are kind of lamenting the loss of the really time imperative. Yeah.
I just feel like there's some games where like there's core values to games, right? Like there's a thing that makes it this franchise as opposed to this franchise, and I feel like losing the difficulty, losing the time limit, and losing campaign co-op. Like those are all things that, like at this point, it's like, yes, it has the character. Oh, and also lost the voice actor.
Which they didn't have. Well, I can be honest, the updated voice actor is doing better.
Really?
Than Dead Rising 1, everything was so wooden and mechanical, and part of it was just the writing was like, eh.
Do you remember Dead Rising 1 was, I want to say Dead Rising 1 was the game where, because HD
right, it was unplayable
new, and it was like the text was so
readable.
tiny.
I know because I had a fucking 480 TV.
I did as well.
Yep.
I had an SD TV and I tried to play the game. I was like, oh, you want me to go where? Yeah, I can't read that, so I have no idea.
I will never know. Yeah. But there are those elements that made it Dead Rising as opposed to any other zombie game, and I feel like losing those it kind of like dilutes its identity to me, and I think it's a little bit of a bummer. Just if there was a different mode, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. I just I would like to be able to have that experience. I don't know why you would take it out and not even make it optional.
How do you feel about getting rid of the save imperative is also gone, where now it's a checkpoint. it used to be you had to go to a bathroom if you or something a save point to save the game. Now it's just like you made it through a checkpoint.
You got a shit to save.
You gotta unload some baggage. I don't know. So I'm kind of on the fence about it because I agree with you. Like that was a cool mechanic, but at the same time, it was a stressful mechanic, and I always felt like it was hindering me from really just enjoying the game.
Yeah, there were definitely times playing those games where I didn't get to do the things I wanted to do because of the clock.
Right. Yeah. It's just constantly.
And it's not like something I want to go back and replay. It's just like, oh, I wish I could have experienced this in a different way, but because the way this clock is, I can't.
Right.
So I don't know. I wish there was a way to create that stress and that feeling of like you're under the gun,
like some sort of like immediacy
for things, but not necessarily for the whole game. Like maybe if they were like mission based, like you only had like 30 minutes to complete X mission, that'd be great. But not. I don't like the whole game being under that gun, especially because it created points, especially in the first game, where if you mess something up that you couldn't previously have knowledge of, except with a guide, you would lose because you couldn't beat certain parts without getting certain things.
Yeah, you had to pretty much stay on top of every nuance of what it wanted you to do, and you had to explore everything. But and in the new one so far, I mean, I'm not that far into it. I'm maybe 2.5, 3 hours in, and it's got a lot of expository stuff at the beginning, but it's got what I really do like about it still is it's got a good sense of humor. Like it's still snarky Frank West, and
that is a nice thing about it. And there's with the holiday theme, there are a lot of opportunities for that. Really, this was like a perfect time for it to come out.
You really got to, if you pay attention to the dialogue, especially because a lot of times it's easy to just kind of phase out a little bit sometimes if it goes into a cutscene or something, but there's a lot of little tiny jokes in there that are worked in that are really nice.
I've read a lot of the reviews for it, and a lot of people are calling it stupid, and I don't know if that's like people lost their sense of humor or it is more stupid than previous. Or is it?
Again, maybe as I go in further, my opinion on it will change. Most of the jokes are pretty light. It's not like highbrow stuff. I mean, we're not going to discuss the economy or the
well,
new
and the
president
first game was like,
but,
here, put some masks on dead zombies and take a bunch of pictures.
what do you expect from this game, really? If you go in knowing the humor,
I'm just asking questions about the reviews. I haven't played the game.
No, if you go in knowing
how dare you, sir?
God, smite you on the spot. No, yeah, if you go in with experience of any Dead Rising game, it'll be more of the same. I mean, honestly, the series took more of a serious note there for a while. Like Dead Rising 2 was pretty.
Not 2, it was the prequel to 2.
Case Zero.
Yeah.
Well, 2 and Case Zero. I mean, 2 still had the, which I think this is why Frank West got his own version of 2. Essentially, was because Chuck, was that his name from 2?
Yeah, Chuck, and then the 3 was Nick.
Yeah, Nick maybe brought it back a little bit, but Chuck was not a funny dude. He had, the character had motivation not to be. He was trying to save his daughter. Like, that all played out fine. And it's still a good game, but it
makes it a little bit heavier than like, war journalist photographer got trapped in a mall.
Right. Yeah, he was not cracking wise about the situation. He's like, gotta save my daughter. And some of that carried into 3.
We get it. You have a daughter. You like her. Move on.
If you don't get back to the office, she's going to eat your face. Whatever. Come on. Liven it up a little. And this is definitely back to, he's running over people with go-karts. And,
okay. So it's has that goofy
and also
undertone.
the weapons in it, like because you can put so many different weapons together and so many like crazy. There's like 50 combinations, something crazy. And it's like you can have like acid spitting toy Santa.
I love
and
that
just like
shit,
other
dude.
kinds of crazy stuff, which is really one of the things that I liked so much about Sunset Overdrive. Was like just the stupid, crazy weapons that
really
make
irreverent,
no sense and yet wonderful time.
Those were the most fun ones, the ones that are just off the wall. I played it for a while last night and got a crossbow that fired fish. And the fish would like burrow in and like explode whatever they hit. It was great.
Fucking cool, dude.
It was amazing. I loved marlining people in the face.
That's awesome.
Although I think it was a swordfish technically, but no, it's still got those crazy weapon combinations in there. That's part of the fun of that game is just finding all the blueprints and making all the off the wall ways to chop up zombies.
Cool.
And that's totally still there.
All right.
I'm going to read this real quick. This episode of The Patch is brought to you by Casper. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the cost. Casper is revolutionizing the mattress industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and passing that savings directly to the consumer. Casper's mattress is an obsessively engineered mattress at a very fair price. Casper combines two technologies, springy latex foam and supportive memory foam, to create an award-winning sleep surface with just the right sink and just the right bounce. The breathable design sleeps cool to help you regulate your temperature through the night. You can buy it easily online and completely risk-free. Casper understands the importance of truly trying out mattress that in all reality you spend a third of your life on. Casper offers free delivery and painless returns within a 100-day period, so you don't have to lie down in a showroom. Casper offers free shipping and returns to the U.S. and Canada. Get a Casper mattress for $500 for a twin or $950 for a king-size mattress. Comparing this to industry averages, that's an outstanding price point. And you can save an additional $50 towards a mattress purchase by going to casper.com/patch and entering promo code PATCH. That's casper.com/patch and promo code PATCH. Terms and conditions may apply. Thank you to Casper for sponsoring this. I was about to say Let's Play. This podcast. I've been doing lots of Let's Plays lately. Sorry.
Yeah, you've been playing I Was a Galgun.
We did play some Galgun.
Thoughts?
What is there to say really about Galgun?
Wait,
So
in Galgun, did you pay the $90 to
We did not pay the $90 to
the
unlock.
nudity deals?
It is not nudity, by the way.
Oh, what is it?
So-
What are you paying $90 for then?
That's a great question. So what happens is, okay, so right now in the game, if you hit a button, you kind of zoom in a little bit, like precision targeting, and the clothes become just a little bit opaque. Like you can kind of see the suggestion of underwear under there. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish I could just see the underwear under there, like clothes be damned, have I got a $90 DLC for you?
That's the DLC. I thought the whole game was looking at underwear.
No.
I don't know what Galgun is. What's the game?
It's Time Crisis, only you shoot orgasm bullets at ladies.
Okay.
You haven't seen
occasionally-
this, do you?
I thought Galgun was shooting the clothes off people.
You don't shoot the clothes off.
Maybe
them,
I was
though.
thinking
you
of a
shoot them
different
until they go
anime
like,
game. You know
and they
what? I was
collapse.
playing. I think I might have been confusing it a little bit with Akiba's Strip, where you rip clothes off.
Well, I mean, if you want to get closer to them, there's also the Doki Doki mode, in which case you get up close and personal and start feeling around on them to find their sensitive spots. And when you find their sensitive spots, like it can be face, it can be legs, but realistically, it's boobs or butt, and you just go all in on it until they get
very
super happy.
Japanese game.
It's so Japanese.
I mean, there it is. Yep.
You're having an action. So yeah, you shoot enjoyment at
Yeah,
ladies
you got to
until
hit
they
them in the right spots.
until they fall down on the ground out of pleasure.
There you go.
This
And
is like-
they just start coming at you, though.
You don't have like control of your character. You just have control of the camera.
No, I'm controlling that. Yeah, I can.
But not like you don't walk around.
No.
That's lame.
I can look left and right. Like I have control over if I'm looking forward, left, or right. There was the zoom. I briefly did it, but yeah, you do. Oh god!
Oh, God.
And then they
That's
come at
scary.
you.
Twins.
Yeah, no, they're coming at you, man. It's like
Spooky.
zombies.
Well, they're like, how dare you shoot the other ladies with pleasure? We're right here.
It's true. Well, you see, what has happened is.
Can you?
Oh,
shoot
they're
it?
Doki Doki mode. Here we go.
Oh, Doki
Shit.
Doki.
Oh, this is suggestive.
No, yeah, I'm about to get. I gotta. You go right.
Oh
Look,
my
you
God.
gotta find where the spot is. Okay, so I've been told that in the American version they de-perverted it a bit.
Really?
Wait.
It's more likely to
First
be
of
face.
all, how and why?
I don't know. I guess they thought American audiences didn't like to touch boobies and buddies.
Did you see that
Boobies
in
and
the new
buddies.
Are you playing the new Pokemon? I have
Sun
not-
and Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to like rub your Pokemon to make them happy?
Absolutely.
Wait,
so you
what?
can. So in Sun and Moon, there's a
We're going
mechanic where
Doki
you can
Doki on the Pokemon.
You go Doki
It's-
Doki.
it's exactly
'Cause
like that.
It is just like that because they have like spots. There's like each Pokemon has a spot that they really like getting petted and a spot that they really don't like getting petted.
And sometimes
and
the happy places where you would
kind of
not
weird.
want
It's
it to
like
be.
I like to think of it as lower belly.
Red Rocket.
Yeah. Like I think Snorlax likes his lower belly rubbed.
I love Snorlax.
I think of it as
He's
lower
my
belly anyway.
favorite.
But you know, it's the owl, at least second form owl. Forget his name.
Second form owl.
Well, look, I knew it. Like I know
He likes
as a
it right in
starter,
the
he was
cloaca.
Rowlet, and then he evolved, and he got like a weird, like he parted his feathers to the side, and he's got like a side sweep, and I just want to like brush it and tell him to
He's
get
in
a
his
feather
emo
cut.
phase, right.
And so I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Was Rowlet, now
But you
kind
know
of
where he likes to be touched.
now kind of weird. Yeah, he hates it if you touch his bow tie.
I mean, who wouldn't? Okay.
See,
Okay.
See,
All
look
right
how
then.
cute he is. Oh no, sorry. Second form Rowlet hates it if you touch his hair.
I can't tell if he was happy or not there.
Yeah,
I'm really
real
confused.
happy.
Oh, he's a little
Oh, they're
sad
sad,
right there.
okay.
Oh, don't touch me, dude.
Yeah. It is pretty cute. Honestly, I like petting them.
I mean, but you have to do it a lot, though, right?
You know, in Last Guardian, you can pet Trico, and he'll be like, and if he's got enough space, he'll like lay down and roll on his back and fall asleep.
Dude, so you put your giant guardian thing to sleep?
You put your giant guardian thing to sleep. And here's the thing. Bird Dog Cat is so freaking cute.
God damn it.
Easily the highlight of the game.
All right, so what is the mechanic of this game, though? What are you doing?
Okay, so if you're familiar with Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, it's very similar. It's a game where it's not about, like, you don't go into a level and you go through the level and then there's a boss at the end and you finish the level and you load the next level. It's not that sort of game. It's kind of one continuous level consisting of a bunch of different puzzles. And similar to Eco, it's a game where it'll take both of you to solve some of the puzzles and like to figure things out and to get around. But you can't command Trico to do anything specific. You can call him over to places and then he'll get it into his head that, oh, I should jump up over this thing or not. And so it's this weird sort of like bonding relationship between you and a beast that you're journeying with, but you don't command him. You just hope he wants to go to the same places that you do.
Sounds like my marriage.
In the situations where you need him to, like, okay, the one goal that we have here is to climb this wall, and you need him to climb this wall, and he doesn't feel like it, what the fuck do you do?
I would give him pets until he rolls over. And then the thing is, it comes down a lot of times. A lot of the reviews criticized the it's like they're not sure if he's not in the right spot or if something is wrong there or if it's not what he's supposed to be doing or if he just doesn't feel like it. I have yet to actually have that problem. Once I get to a place, I've got a pretty good idea. Like I might look around for a minute or two trying to figure out, like, all right, are there ledges here? Am I supposed to jump over a thing? What am I supposed to do? But it pretty quickly becomes clear where and how I'm supposed to tackle any given puzzle. And like getting him to that point isn't that hard. You occasionally have barrels of what may be butterfly juice and or maybe dead stuff. Not really sure.
Juice.
Well, there's butterflies around it, so I like to think of it as butterfly juice. But apparently, symbolically, it might just mean dead things.
How many butterflies does it take to get a cup of juice, would you say?
A lot of them. A lot of butterflies.
Six. That's a pretty good metric.
Tested.
Maybe are they giant butterflies?
No, they're regular. Like, just this big.
The reason I say that is because the game has little to no explanation. There's no HUD. With the exception of when you get close to something, because all of the button commands are context sensitive, it will pop out like what that button will do at any given situation. But that's really the only HUD. The rest is just, it leaves it. It's a beautiful world to explore and it just drops you in it. And that's really one of Team Eco's strengths, is just creating this really cool thing to explore. And so one of their very few subtle hints is you can look around and there are generally butterflies in the direction you need to go. Like one or two butterflies, just almost enough to just be like flapping around to kind of get your attention and draw it in that, like in that direction. Then you go, oh.
But what are you doing?
Well, I don't know. I think we're trying to escape. So the game starts. Yes, it's a puzzle platformer. The game starts and you are a kid and you wake up in this crazy ruin and for some reason you have tattoos and no idea how you got there. But there's this young man-killing monster right next to you that's got a bunch of spears in its body. And so you sort of like, you feed it so that it doesn't want to eat you, and you get the spears out and you get its crazy collar and for what looks like battle armor off, and then it seems like you're trying to get somewhere and escape together.
All right.
But it's the kind of game where a lot of the narrative seems implied. And a lot of the world building is very subtle things placed here and there that will require a lot longer to really dig into, I think. And I think about, long after you played the game.
Okay.
It's very much like traditional Team Eco games in that regard. Mm-hmm. They if you know their games, you know what you're getting with The Last Guardian. It's right up their alley. It's honestly, like, even when Eco came out and I played that way back in the day, it was like, it's gorgeous, it's amazing, kind of frustrating trying to get this freaking girl to go where you need her to go and solve the puzzles and not get eaten by crazy shadow demon things. And this is kind of similar, where you're like trying to get them to go to a place and you can call them over and sometimes they'll come and sometimes they won't because other things are happening. But the experience is very similar.
So it doesn't sound like there'd be a huge amount of replayability on that, is there? I mean, it sounds like it'd be an interesting experience, but you kind of one and done it.
Yeah, probably not a huge amount of replayability. It's just it's kind of an experience game.
Okay.
Do you know the length of it? I've seen like some reports saying like if you know what you're doing, it's like 6 hours, but otherwise it's like 15 to 20.
I'm several hours in and I have no clue where I'm at.
That's fair.
I think I'll figure out how long it's likely to be once I finish it and go, oh.
So from your general description, it kind of sounds like it's somewhat similar to maybe like Unravel.
A little bit, although I mean, Unravel is side scroller for one.
Yeah.
It's got a similar thing where you're limited.
Right.
Like with Unravel, you're limited by the amount of string you can unspool. And then you're just stuck and you have to go back and find a more efficient way. This is much more about figuring out how you, a tiny human person, can work with a giant bird dog cat to navigate through these areas, because there are some areas where giant bird dog cat won't fit. There are some areas where you're going to need to hop on bird dog cat because you're not going to be able to make that jump. Or like you need to open up a place so bird dog cat can jump, or so it's figuring out how to traverse the levels in two very different ways.
Okay.
But it's really lovely. It's a very sort of immersive experience. You can spend hours playing it and not realize it. So in spite of the technical issues, I think it's like pretty great. None of them stopped me from enjoying it.
But you are playing on the more robust hardware.
I played it on the more robust hardware, and then I went back and played it on standard hardware.
And
the slowdowns were more noticeable for sure. So Digital Foundry did an analysis, which is much more like nice and formal and laid out as opposed to just like anecdotally. But they said that the PS4 Pro is really the only way to get a reliable 30 FPS.
A reliable 30. Okay.
Yeah, at 1080. And otherwise, you're looking at mostly in the range of 20 to 30 on the base PS4, but you can get stutters that take it far below that.
Sounds like a lovely slideshow.
But here's the thing, it is a lovely slideshow. Everything is beautiful about it.
That you just get to really take in those frames for longer than you might like.
Right. It's like, you know what it is? It's just like enjoy the scenery for a second until the console goes.
When they say every frame's a painting, I don't think they meant that you're supposed to enjoy it as such. But my brain just shorted out. No, I'm good.
Well, back on the topic of zombie games.
I love those. Arizona Sunshine just came out too.
That I want to talk about too, but I haven't
got to play it yet either.
Well, then we shouldn't talk about it. But Last of Us
Next
2.
week.
Last of Us 2.
Yes. Last of Us 2 got announced, which you sound pretty excited about.
I'm super excited about it.
Are you happy that it's Ellie, or were you hoping for another tale? There seems like a split.
Ellie?
Well, it seems like there's a split in the audience. Like everyone obviously is very happy to see Ellie again and see that she's obviously survived a couple more years. But I know that before it was announced, a lot of the speculation and the hope was that it would be another story in that world.
I mean, I'm fine with another story in that world, but also, I mean, the relationship of Joel and Ellie are really what made that game work so well.
He clearly kept his promise, taught her to play guitar.
He did. He's got to be, I mean, judging by how much she's grown up, he's got to be old as hell at this point, right?
Yeah, because she's up to 19. Would define old as hell. I mean, come on.
He was pretty haggard looking in the first one. Plus, we're talking about, post-healthcare sort of world here. Aging probably sets on a little bit harder than it would otherwise.
Yeah, fair enough. But so she's up to 19. So it's been, let's say, 5 years ish.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not too bad.
That seems reasonable. So he's not like, it's not like he went from downtrodden, like tired person to like a shaky old man.
If anything, spending time with her is maybe reinvigorated.
Do you think it's going to be a storyline?
Well, that just makes it sound weird.
It's going to be a storyline where they're hanging out again. Because I love the dynamic. That is probably the most important thing in The Last of Us.
A lot of that they haven't elaborated on, but she's now the primary playable character as opposed to him.
That's totally fine.
And they've said that while the last one, I forget where I read this.
Last one was a story of love.
Yeah.
This one is a story of hate.
So it's the other Knuckles this time.
The thing about Last of Us that was
they had to do the 1-2 punch.
Like a lot of their exposition was told via the conversations that Joel and Ellie had and the conversations that they and the other characters had, and they were so like real and like good. I hope like if they don't have Ellie walking around with someone else during the game, I'm gonna be kind of bummed out. But
well, here's the thing. So okay, in the first one, you're walking around and you were this grizzled veteran kind of guy, and you're escorting this teenager that would be walking to like a record store and be like, "Oh, look at this! Do, 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 do." What's Joel gonna be doing in the background? I mean, she was like, "Oh, fascinated! Like, look at the world." He's just gonna be like, "Fuck this shit."
Well, it's a story of hate, so
piss on that.
I don't know.
That fits if you think about it.
He's just sit down and start cleaning a gun.
I'm just saying, like, that world completely alone may not be as fun. The sections of those games where you were not with someone else were, like, I think a lot more stressful and not as fun. Like, not to say not as fun, but they definitely didn't have that same level of intrigue. But there were some sections that you were alone that were really fun, like the Ellie section where you played in the snow.
Well, I mean, keep in mind too that there's she's an adult now, so there are a lot more dynamics that they can explore. Like she may be trying to like go off, find her own life. Who knows? Maybe she's trying to find a nice lady to settle down with.
I mean, I'm with you, Adam. Like that was kind of a core mechanic of the first one. I don't want to play a single character version of that game.
It was core mechanic, and like there was like a few times where they didn't let you have that, and that was like it was such a driving factor to get to reunite.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a great use of that.
You feel like something's missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, can we talk about it?
Last of Us?
Yeah, it's been long enough.
Yeah, I mean,
you're talking about like spoilery?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't have to talk about the end itself, but like a lot of the points.
I'm just talking about like there's a moment where Joel goes away and he's not dead, but he's under duress, and you start playing as Ellie for a short period of time, and like it's only a couple hours of section, but it's like what?
Sorry, Ryan just had to cross his legs, and he was very, very careful about doing so.
Making sure it's off camera.
It was only a few hours, but it was like such a. I feel like I played those few hours faster than any other hours in the game because I just wanted to like it was dragging me along really, really fast, and I wanted to get Joel back, not because I just wanted to play Joel, but because I didn't want to be apart. That game was fucking awesome.
Well, as you said too, a lot of the storytelling was done, but just between the conversations, and that was a really interesting and nice way to unfold the story. Is an ongoing conversation that doesn't have to just be punctuated at cutscenes. They can tell the story as you're playing without interrupting the gameplay.
Yeah, it felt extremely real. And
so, how will you feel if? And this is, I don't count it as a spoiler because I feel like it's just a theory. We don't know what's going to happen. What if he dies?
Oh, well, dude,
there was a lot of speculation that one or both of them will die.
That is not.
If she's the main playable character, it's because he's going to be.
It's pretty expected, but he's there in the cutscene. So
but it's the story of hate. What if that's the
like what? Yeah, what if it's like hate and vengeance?
Even if, dude, like I wouldn't be surprised if she died. Even if she's the main playable character, because they're not afraid to make you switch characters in those games. They made that pretty clear in the last game. So
and there's a pretty good reason for her to die.
Yes, there's a very good reason for her to die. She's a bitch.
What?
Wow. Wow.
What?
Harsh.
I love Ellie. She's great.
All right, soften the blow a little bit there. Thanks.
Salt of the earth. Lovely person.
So on a related note, though, at PSX, they also announced the Uncharted 4 is going to have new DLC, but it's not going to feature Nathan Drake.
Who is it going to feature?
Chloe.
It's weird.
It's weird?
Yeah, I thought they were done with Uncharted. Not because
well,
it's Chloe,
I think that's what a lot of people thought because it was called A Thief's End. It was very clear this is the end. They were saying this is the last of Nathan Drake. But, and that but came along sort of unexpectedly later on, and I'm not sure. Like, there's some franchises that I feel like can make the switch. So, for example, like between characters. For example, Last of Us was a great example. People thought that it could make a switch to new set of characters and the franchise could survive. Like, that would be a thing that, because the world was such a strong character for The Last of Us, that could carry it. Is Uncharted strong enough to switch characters to, Nathan Drake's done. Is it strong enough to switch and keep going?
The Last of Us is one of those games where the game is defined basically by these two characters. So whether you're playing as Joel or Ellie, like you're still experiencing their story, and I feel like they focus on the story of like his adventures. So it's sort of like two different things. Where I'm not necessarily saying I'm not interested in her story, but it's certainly not the same level of like, I don't care about her as much as I care about like an Ellie.
Right. I'm happy to come out and say it. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I don't care about her.
Is it supposed to be where does it fit into the timeline of the previous story?
The premise doesn't specifically say exactly when it takes place, but it says that Chloe enlists the aid of Nadine from 4.
Oh, okay.
And that they go off to recover a fabled ancient Indian artifact.
That's weird.
Which one was Nadine?
She's the one that kicked your ass out the window.
Oh, she was a jerk.
She was a real jerk. She
like
at several points was not a nice person.
She was a lot like more badass than Nathan Drake, though.
She was very badass. I don't know that she was ever a nice person in that game, but
No,
she was
it's weird
badass
that they would
for
work
sure.
together.
Yeah. Well, here's what maybe Uncharted has done, which is nice, where Last of Us still has to do, is because they provided that wrap up, then it's like, okay, now it's cool to tell stories of the universe. And I guess the ending of Last of Us was open-ended enough that you want to find out more of that story. And if you just went to other characters in that world immediately, you'd be like,
I don't care. I'll play it probably.
sure,
I like
there you go.
Uncharted.
Do you like climbing boxes
I mean, yeah.
and pushing over rocks?
Uncharted 4 was real good. It was also like
all
really
right.
pretty. Dude, it was a fun romp.
There's a lot of boxes on wheels for no reason.
That was the weirdest part of that game, where every single section had a crate, like the same crate on wheels, even in these like places that hadn't been seen in 500
Looked
years.
it up. Casters had not been invented yet. That was really taking me out of it.
Not a thing.
No. Also, pretty sure they would have rusted over.
They did reuse that mechanic way too much. But
is that the hey, you do your job?
No,
gesture?
that I was just pointing at your crotch.
Oh, is it wide open? Because if it was, you could see that I am not currently wearing, but love to wear MeUndies. Picture a world where putting on a new pair of underwear isn't just fresh. You're stepping into a better day, a day where your zipper did not break. Think about it. Underwear is the first thing you put on and the last thing you take off. Why would you settle for anything less than the best feeling underwear on the planet? Our friends at MeUndies sent us a few pairs a while back, and now I can't imagine wearing anything else. It really makes each day that much better. For the price of 2 cocktails, MeUndies can deliver your new favorite pair of underwear right to your doorstep. Better day guaranteed. And for a limited time, anyone in our audience gets 20% off their first order, but you have to go to our special URL, MeUndies.com/thepatch. With the MeUndies Better Day Guarantee, you have nothing to lose, so don't wait any longer. Go to MeUndies.com/thepatch right now for 20% off your first order. That's MeUndies.com/thepatch. I'd show you mine, but I'm not wearing them today.
I am. I'm wearing the Halloween ones, but they do have Christmas ones, and I know that because I have 2 pairs.
I'm gonna get some
Hey, there
Christmas
we go.
ones.
They're great. It was a lot of fun actually. They one of the girls from sales came around the office. She had just like a box of underwear and was like,
The
"Here,
underwear
have
fairy."
Yeah, she's the underwear fairy. She was like, "Here, have some underwear," and I was like,
underwear.
looted the place.
You got to be on the
Looted.
receiving end of the underwear fairy.
I want underwear.
You have
Maybe-
to put old underwear under your pillow at night, and then she comes in the morning.
I go through underwear, dude. I just like rip them a lot. I don't know.
And shorts,
It's
apparently.
you and
shorts.
Andy have that same problem, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
I apparently rip zippers out, though. This is the second pair of jeans I've lost to zipper failure.
It's not.
I don't know what's going on in my crotchal region.
I'll brag about it.
I just can't keep it contained. I don't know what it is.
Speaking of Christmas-related stuff, Overwatch just announced Christmas update.
We need to turn
That was a good
mentions
pivot.
of Overwatch into a drinking game here.
Man, well, I don't drink, so it'd
he
be great
held
for
it
me.
in really well. We made it down to like 9.
Okay, well,
I'm just gonna
so
mention-
basically what we're saying is
there's
that'd be
nothing-
the
there's
only
nothing to-
one drinking.
There's nothing to there's nothing to talk about except
Holiday.
there's a holiday update / Christmas update for Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's coming out December 13th, and there's gonna be more shit to buy.
Do you like Sombra?
And Sombra is all right. She's not my style of character.
All right.
She also has a fucked up hitbox, and I can't kill her in one shot with a Roadhog.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning
I've mentioned that before.
So you haven't worked that out yet.
Still
huh?
angry about that, huh?
It's bullshit, and it's not cool.
All right, there you go. Sombra bullshit and not cool.
Sombra is bullshit. Okay, you heard it here first.
You're invited. There you go.
Did
Happy
you talk
holidays.
about the Game Awards?
Oh no,
We
I did
haven't
talk about the
really.
Game
Wanna
Awards.
talk about
So yeah,
that?
that's where I was
Also-
last week.
Yeah.
The reason I
Good
mentioned that
job
is
on
because
that.
Overwatch won Game of the Year.
It did. And Kojima said, well, no, Guillermo del Toro said, fuck you to...
Oh man, Guillermo del Toro was on a roll on
love it.
Twitter after that. He was pulling no punches, and I get it. A lot of people are like, "Why?" Like he seems awfully fired up about this. It was Kojima who was going through all the shit. But if you think about it, That's the second project, I think, that Konami is tanked that Guillermo del Toro was working on as well. So
really
he was
try and
also
make a
very
pachinko
invested.
machine. I hear they go all the way with those.
Sorry, what was the first?
I can't remember what the first was off the top of my head, but that was this was like the second time he's tried to get something going with them, and they've been like,
yeah.
I mean, because there was there's PT, and that was he was so invested in that. So I don't blame him for being upset that they canceled something that had that much hype already, that seemed that promising. Like regardless of anything else, like he was just as invested.
Yeah.
But it was still really funny to see him just going ham about it.
Man, it was.
I mean, a lot of people agree. Fuck Konami.
It was everything was coming up Kojima at Game Awards.
That was really heartwarming.
I guess I don't remember why all of a sudden it got such. It really went dramatic on us.
Well, because last year they were going to give him that award, but he wasn't able to accept it. So it was like
because Konami wouldn't let him attend.
They locked him in the basement.
So it was a big triumphant moment.
It was, and and that was the last year Jeff Keighley did a huge unscripted monologue basically about how unfair that was for Kojima, and this is in spite of, I believe, Konami being a sponsor of the event last year.
Whoops.
Well,
no, he was just he felt strongly enough about it to say something about it regardless, which I respect a lot. Actually, I have nothing but respect for Jeff Keighley. He's a wonderful guy, and he loves video games so much. And I've known him at this point for 12 years, and he's great. I know he took a lot of guff for the whole Cheeto Mountain Dew Pope thing.
Oh yeah.
A while back, and people have criticized the Game Awards as well for having there's a lot of reveals, and it feels very commercial, and that's a criticism that I understand for sure, because there are definitely a lot of platforms and games that get involved with it because they want to show off their stuff, whatever. But for me, I get it, because these events aren't made for free. It's not like the Academy Awards, which, as far as I know, is funded by the dues of the guild and so on. So, this doesn't have anything like that. There's not a guild of game developers whose dues are helping to fund this awards event. He has to find the money from somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're not cheap. It was at the Microsoft Arena in LA Live, which is where the Emmys were this year.
Shit.
So it's a big thing for them. And it does in the end feel at the very least like a celebration of games and developers and everything, which I enjoyed. So I had a good time. This is the first year that Rooster Teeth has been invited to vote as part of the awards, and then Jeff invited Bernie and I to present just at the kind of last minute, and so we're like, yeah, we'll do it.
That's great.
So it was a lot of fun. I really appreciated being a part of it. In spite of all the criticisms, which are founded for sure, but I think that a lot of it is the reality of making something like that happen, and the alternative is it doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, I mean, it does take a lot of money to make any of those events actually exist. So that's understandable. I mean, and anytime you have a lot of audience that are interested in video games focused on one thing, it's just going to eventually turn somewhat into a vehicle for disseminating new, exciting information about video games. So it's not really that bad of a thing. I mean, it's cool to get a bunch of news in one spot, or have these developers work on a really cool release specifically for it.
Also, I think it's really people criticize awards shows in general, but I think it's important to give people recognition when they do something good for the industry or make a game that they worked really hard on, and that's awesome and people appreciate. Mm-hmm. I don't know, that stuff I still like.
I wish Titanfall had gotten some love. That's still a great game.
Did it not get any love?
It had nominations, but it didn't take the wins.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it had some really stiff competition this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it was Game of the Year, but it is a damn good game that is not going to get us a Titanfall 3. Unfortunately, I don't think.
Totally going to get us a Titanfall 3.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You really think so?
Yeah,
it's
dude.
not done great.
EA is came out and said we're going to support it
And then the Respawn guy said whatever the fuck that means.
Whatever the fuck that means.
He was clearly not happy with the situation for the game. And understandably so, because I feel like Titanfall 2 was sent out to die.
Totally. But I still think we're going to get a Titanfall 3. No, I think that game's going to sell well enough that we'll at least see something.
Maybe
I would
the
very
holidays
much like
will
that
turn
to
it
happen.
around. The holidays could really mean a big difference for a lot of these titles that are not selling great. When you launch close to the holiday season, that's just like the maybe we'll get it for Christmas window where a lot of those may sell. Let's hope.
Maybe, and my hope as well is that because people have, like the people that played it have said it's really great. It's undersold. Everyone should be giving this a go. Like that. My hope is that means enough that more people will pick it up and it will have a longer than expected tail.
Yeah.
So we shall see. We shall see about that. So we got to wrap up in a couple of minutes here, but we did have one other thing that's a patch business item to discuss.
Oh, what's that?
It's and that is that we've been looking at the patch just as a show for the last couple of months, and we decided that at the end of the year we're actually going to take the patch down. So
Bye.
Goodbye patch. We're going to rework it, retool it, like basically reproduce it. We want to get a Marcus special set. I
thought the set was really nice when we first got it.
we just stolen a bunch of different pieces, from various things. We need to figure out what the show is specifically. The weird thing about the patch specifically is that, if we do shows a lot differently now. Every show is a premise and a producer, and sort of what it is. It's got guidance going in. When the patch launched, it was. Everyone tells us we talk about video games too much on the Rooster Teeth podcast, so we're going to make another podcast where we talk about video games. And at the time, it was the only one at Rooster Teeth like that, so it made a lot of sense. But since then, we've got Off Topic, we've got Dude Soup, we've got Try Hard, we've got there are a lot of video game podcasts as part of Rooster Teeth now, and so we want to figure out what we can do with this podcast that makes it different from everything else and that produces it a little bit tighter. So it's a specific thing. I mean, the patch has been through a lot of really sort of casual meandering iterations. It was, Bernie's going to show some live gameplay of a game or a challenge that he's doing. And then it was, we're going to run down the news headlines. And then we started doing a lot more in-depth analysis and context on news updates for the know. So we switched to, just talk about the new releases and what's out and what we're playing. And so it's been through a lot of these sort of meandering modes. This podcast has changed 5 times.
Yeah.
But it's not, not with any sort of guidance. So we're going to pull it back a little bit, take a couple months to actually evaluate it and then retool it and put out a new patch. I don't know. We may even change the name. Who knows?
Really?
Well, I mean, there's
we
patch
just give it a new
really
iteration.
A word now.
It needs a version number.
Patch is a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a word, but
That's
it's
a great name for a podcast. I'm sorry.
Well, we do conflict with the podcast about pumpkin patches occasionally.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
constantly. We trade off with some pumpkin patch thing in our hashtag every week. It's really weird, actually. So we're gonna do that and have a look. So actually, we could use your guys' feedback for the things that you like about the patch, things that you would like to see in Rooster Teeth's video game podcast, and then we'll continue doing this for the next couple of weeks. We like chatting about video games every week, and then we'll when we come back from holidays for the new year, we're gonna look at the new stuff that we want to do. I think it's like a refresher. And it's also really rare. We don't do this with shows very often. Generally, they just go off and it's meh. We just stop putting out episodes of something like Game Club.
The game what now?
And exactly.
When's
that's
Game
it.
Club coming back?
Actually, I do have some ideas for that, but it goes into the idea of we want to rethink it and make it work better, and then put something out. So that's another thing that we'll sort of work on. But this is really one of the first shows I think that we're gonna take away, retool, and then bring back. With Screenplay, for example, it was just
Any day now.
Okay, goodbye.
Any day now. It'll be back. Don't worry about it.
Any day,
Loyal
Screenplay.
fans, don't worry. Yeah. It's the turnaround. It's
So mean.
the set's just right over there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not.
No, we burned it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure even the sports ball set's been torn down and turned into something else
Sports
now.
ball set is now the fan service set.
There we go. That's what it is. Yep. I saw them painting over it, and I was like, goodbye,
Poor
sports
set.
ball.
To be fair, the fan service set is real fucking cool.
It's a real cool set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to cover off that business before we leave, and we'll mention it so that no one who watches the last couple episodes is super surprised when there's not an episode the next week. But in the comments and everything,
have like a party for it on the last episode.
We should have a party. Maybe we'll have a cake.
There we go.
Maybe we'll all wear black. Could be a black cake.
No, because it's coming back.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just do it in a Hot Topic.
What about
How about that?
Yes, we'll do the last episode from Hot Topic.
We can all have like black eyeliner. All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week. We will see you next week, and then the week after that, and then probably never for a while.
Well, let's see. Let me look up the calendar. So next week, the week after that, which we'll probably pre-record anyway because it'll be the 28th.
Right.
And then goodbye for now.
Until not goodbye.
So, until goodbye.
Notice?
What?
Until further notice?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, there's a 360 camera over there.
We'll work out the exact date that it's going to come back and everything. That's part of the retooling. Like, we don't know how long it's going to take to build the set and design and everything. But I think it'll come back and it'll be extra, extra awesome.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.